This is the Ecwid e-commerce show with your host, Jesse Ness, along with Richard O'Tay.
Rich, how are you?
It's good. It's good. It's Friday, you know. How could we be doing anything? I always feel weird saying that. It's Friday for us, but you could be listening to this on a Monday, Sunday, Tuesday.
No, I think people are waiting for this to download to their phone, and it's Friday. They're like, where's Jesse and Rich in case we're late?
Of course.
So
ready for their happy hour.
Yeah, it's probably Friday everywhere. So awesome. It's another good day because we get to talk about one of our favorite platforms today. So for listeners out there or viewers, if you're on video, we talk about a lot of different platforms on here, and we do that because I think everybody needs to find the perfect thing for them, right? Like maybe podcasting is perfect for you, or maybe it's YouTube, maybe it's Instagram, Facebook, all those other platforms. But I think for everybody, we talk about really wanting to focus in on one when you find the right one for you. And so not to, jump to the close here, but, I think for Pinterest, that might be the perfect one for a lot of people. So, Rich, I know you're a Pinterest fan as well.
Yeah, I love it. And it's always an interesting hybrid when we're doing these shows because we want to always do things that give interesting information for Ecwid users. But at the same time, it's like, I want to learn more too. So it's like, if anything, we're trying.
I see you got a computer there. There's no notebook. So yeah, we'll be taking notes ourselves. There's transcripts. So we have the transcripts on, ecwid.com/podcast. So we don't actually have to take notes. But yeah, like I'm curious for myself, love Pinterest. I think that you get people in the right frame of mind where they don't know what they want to buy yet. They're not ready to pick out a certain product, but they're looking, it's like a wish list or, the pin board. So yeah, for e-commerce listeners, which I know you're an e-commerce listener, give Pinterest some like serious consideration. I think it's kind of a hidden gem of the big platforms out there. So we're going to do a deep dive today. It's not just the Jesse and Rich show today. We're bringing on an expert from Pinterest. So let's bring her on. We have Mandy Rosenthal. She's the partnerships manager specializing in e-commerce integrations. Mandy, how are you?
Hi guys, I'm good. How are you?
Fantastic.
Doing great. Thanks.
Yeah. Nice. As you heard, we're excited to have you on. We want to pick your brain on all things Pinterest. And, we kind of understand what Pinterest is. We've had a little bit of Pinterest information on the podcast before, but let's hear it from, the real Pinterest story. Like what is Pinterest in your mind?
Yeah, that's a great question. And thank you all just so much for having me on. I think this is a really nice opportunity to talk about how businesses of any size and merchants of any size can leverage our platform and leverage Pinterest to reach a new audience. A lot of people use other platforms to achieve things like ROI, et cetera. You can do those same things on Pinterest. So basically how we define the platform is it's a visual discovery platform. And what that means, or a visual search engine, because people are coming to the platform to be inspired. We consider ourselves the home of inspiration. And what is inspiration, right? I think that's kind of a difficult word for people to define, but inspiration is really, you see something and it brings you joy. It hits that kind of note in your mind of, oh yeah, that's what I'm looking for. Because people don't always necessarily know how to describe the vision that they have. So our platform and Pinterest is available for people to really craft and shape their plan. So people are coming to the platform when they're really considering what to do or to buy next.
Okay. Well, I heard what to do or what to buy next. And so for e-commerce listeners out there, if you want to be part of that consideration set, Pinterest is probably a very good place because people are spending a lot of time scrolling through their phones. It's more of a mobile than a desktop thing right now. But people are looking for inspiration and ultimately things to buy. So
yeah, I think that buy next piece is really important because they don't know what to buy for dinner. They don't know what they're going to cook that night. They don't know what they're going to wear to their upcoming holiday party. So they go to Pinterest to search for those things. And people, when they come to Pinterest, they're searching like 1 to 3 word search queries. So we look for really kind of broad, strong keywords. And if you are a business and you're advertising or organically running, have an organic presence on Pinterest, then you ultimately become part of the pinner's plan, because people are coming to Pinterest months in advance before they know what they want to do. For example, I moved into my apartment in August. I was already planning months prior on how I wanted my bedroom to look, how I wanted my living room to look, etc. So I was using Pinterest to search for like mid-century modern living room decor, right? Pretty broad search terms. If you are a business and you have mid-century modern furniture, it behooves you to be on the platform, because once you do, that pinner is then going to realize, oh, cool, this brand has that mid-century couch I was looking for. Great. I'm going to pin that to my board. And then when they actually go to execute on their plan, you will be in their frame of mind. You will be at the top of their list. So it's just really a good way to get into the mindset of the pinner when they're really early on in their decision making.
Great. And you mentioned pinning to their board. So for people that haven't used Pinterest, like maybe you can describe that a little bit more, because it's great if you understand. If for the people that are like, what the heck is pinned
what's
to
a board?
Pinning?
So honestly, like the way that I like to describe this is, it is a digital bulletin board. Remember back in the day, you used to rip out pages of magazines of like cool stuff that you wanted to do, or create your own vision board, and then you pin it on a bulletin board. You walk by it every day and you say, yeah, I'm going to do that. I'm going to buy that. It's essentially a digital version of that. Our mission is to, inspire people to create a life that they love. So by giving them a visual platform, a visual board of what to do, it just helps them be reminded daily. And so the boards can be categorized, right? So I have a board for, like I said, living room decor. I have a board for pottery. I have a board for art. I have a board for recipes. So you can categorize them to frame and organize exactly what you want to do.
So it's interesting, as you were describing that, I not only heard you talking about inspiration, and that came out a lot, right? Mm-hmm. Inspire, but it's almost, to your comment about the vision board, it's almost aspirational too.
Yes.
So it's this thing that they want to aspire to become, or one day they will get. And that doesn't sound like anything like any of the other platforms, right? That's usually kind of what's happening only right now. And I'm sure there's plenty of people who are enjoying it right now for now and buying stuff right now, but it really sounds like aspirational too. This thing you're looking forward to buying, or in your case, like you're almost building out all the things that you would like your apartment to look like. So when you actually go to move into your apartment, now it's time to go back to that board and you might start clicking and buying.
Exactly. Yeah, it is aspirational, because we should have dreams, right? We all have dreams. And I don't really think there are other platforms out there that are really very personal. And that's really why we don't consider ourselves a social media platform. Social media platforms are really about seeing what others are doing, keeping, tabs on your network, seeing what your friends are doing, which is great. But Pinterest is very personal. It's all about you and improving your life. It's not necessarily about seeing what others are doing. Yes, you can plan parties together with people on Pinterest if you're in a group and you need to design things together, of course. But at the end of the day, it's really about yourself and making your life the best life. So it's a very happy place on the internet.
There's not many happy places on the internet, so that's
right.
That's good to hear.
It's good.
Yeah, and you generally don't take a picture of your current living room and post it. You're like, well, that's my old couch. Here's my living room, but with that new couch and a new vase and a lamp over there. Like that's the vision. And of course, for e-commerce, sometimes if there's a link to a website and you sell that particular vase or lamp, that's gold, right? So how can we, for e-commerce listeners, how can they get started? Like, besides like spending their time looking at Pinterest, how can they get started posting on Pinterest and being on Pinterest?
Absolutely. So first and foremost, get a Pinterest business account. It's free. You can go to Pinterest.com and make an account today. I have an account, super easy to do. So first do that. And then with our partnership with Ecwid, you can actually get the conversion tag that's generated from your Pinterest business account and have that really easily put on your site hosted by Ecwid. And that tag is going to allow you to essentially build audiences so you can track their actions of when they added something to cart or completed a checkout, started checkout, etc. So then you can eventually retarget them later on Pinterest. So I would get the business account, get the tag set up, and then let's get your products on Pinterest, right? So there's a couple ways to do that. If you're a business, you have tens of thousands of SKUs, right? So you're not going to individually go one by one. You definitely can. But for a more automatic and scalable way, we would recommend you take your product feed and then use our catalogs tool, catalogs with a capital C, use our catalogs tool to automatically push your entire product catalog to Pinterest, where they automatically get generated into product pins. So a product pin essentially takes the image, the description, the categories, all the information you put in the feed, turns it into a pin, and then you can promote it via a shopping ad on Pinterest. So it's super seamless way to take it from feed to pin, to take your product feed and make them into inspirational, actionable, shoppable pins really quickly.
Awesome. So I'm gonna do a little recap for everybody out there, because there's a lot of information, but by the way, I've done all this stuff. It's actually very easy. So business account, you just say you want to create a business account when you go to Pinterest. You don't need to prove you're a business. You just sign up for a business account. It's very, very simple. The pixel. So for regular listeners out there, we're talking about adding the tag, adding the pixel. We always say that because you should always do that. It's very, very simple. There, we've built the integration into Ecwid for Pinterest, so it's literally like a click or two, and you have this tracking pixel which will track traffic, create audiences. So super easy. Don't be scared of the word pixel or tracking or tag. It's very simple. Product feed. So yes, there's product feeds inside of Ecwid. So sometimes that takes one or two shots to make it work and figure out what's going on there, but don't let that stop you. It's very simple. You do.
And we have a very easy template. We have a really easy template to follow. You can download it from our help site. It just has all the columns there for you. Some are required, some are optional. It's super easy to follow.
I agree. So I don't want people to get scared by any of those steps. Like, those are all pretty easy steps. If you just sit down and focus for a few minutes, you'll get this done. You can always hit up Ecwid support as well. They're going to help work you through any issues you have or any questions. So, but then once you have all this stuff done, now you're kind of unlocking the power of Pinterest and the different advertising options. And then I think you mentioned too, so all your products are now in Pinterest and available as pins. So, I mean, there's a lot of stuff you can do organically with that as well, right? Like what can you do there?
Absolutely. So you can have an organic presence and a promoted presence on Pinterest. We recommend you have both, because organic presence honestly helps you build trust with the pinner, with the consumer. And then obviously a promoted and paid media presence means that you're able to target specific audiences and help drive home, campaign objectives. From an organic perspective, we definitely recommend that you, first and foremost, the images that you're uploading for your products align with everyday life decisions, like what nail polish am I going to wear? What am I going to cook for dinner tonight? What am I going to wear tomorrow? To seasonal moments, right? So what's my Halloween costume? What's my holiday party going to look like? Because when we see that, when pinners see images of people using the product, they're able to better visualize themselves using it themselves. So we really recommend that. And then really use broad search terms and broad keywords when you are uploading your feed. I think I was saying earlier, around 72% of searches on Pinterest just use 1 to 3 queries. So really make sure they're using broad keywords, and then pin frequently. If you're doing this organically, we want to make sure that you are pinning consistently, because our algorithm favors fresh content. And the more you pin, the more our algorithm is able to better learn about what's working best and who your product is resonating better with. So definitely pin frequently for organic.
That's great. Now, I got a couple questions here, and I know Rich is probably chomping at the bit here with a couple as well. So I want to dive into that. But yeah, a lot of that you mentioned that so usually your product pictures they're fine, but they're usually not the lifestyle images that you talked about. So like you mentioned for recipes, like when you're cooking a recipe, that might not be, this is more of an action photo rather than here's a picture, a stalk of celery, right? Like that's not exciting with a white background. Like you want here's
delicious.
Yeah. Ooh, where do I buy the celery? So yeah. But like, so to describe that a little bit more, so you're cooking a soup or like you're providing lifestyle shots. How can you connect that to e-commerce? Like, is there, these are lifestyle photos, but how do we connect to the e-commerce? We want pins, we want all the, social bonuses, but really we want sales, right? Like how do you connect those?
Well, and I think just because I'm going to add to this, so pause your answer for a sec. I don't think he's saying literally, like we know you can just put a link and it'll go to a product, but in a way that has flow, that doesn't seem like a strange transition. So for example, or actually we have someone, Kent Rawlings, he does like barbecue, he's cowboy cooking out on the prairie, right? But he sells like the seasoning. So he would be showing a picture of the finished product, but is there a way to have it flow to where it makes sense when do they land on a blog post and then it's the seasoning, or is it strange to just have it go to the seasoning?
Yeah, that's a great question. No, it's not strange to have it go to the seasoning. I think what's really important is first having the pinner understand what you're trying to promote or what you're trying to sell within that initial pin. So like you said, just having a photo of a bottle of seasoning, yeah, sure, that's going to get the point across you're selling seasoning. But in order to get people to resonate with it more and actually get them to purchase the product, have a photo with someone using the seasoning when they put it on a steak, and then, have the product shot next to it. We also work with a lot of creative partners that can help take your existing creative and optimize it so we can really drive home that message of what you're trying to get across to that pinner. So then when they click on the pin, they can be driven directly to your seasoning website to buy the product. You could also have them drive to a blog post. It's whatever you're trying to do. I imagine you're trying to make some sales. So you would drive to the retailer site or your business site to make that purchase.
And so would that be the example that you use the word shoppable pins? So I want to repeat that for SEO purposes as well. No, but yes. So the shoppable pin, is that where it can be a lifestyle shot and then there's the link to the retail store from that?
Absolutely. Yeah, because, product image on a white background, sure, that'll do the trick. But if you want better performance, we would really recommend a lifestyle shot. And that's because, and really we can make any pin shoppable. So that's just going to make it perform better. Our goal is to have every single pin be shoppable. That is the goal, because we are the home of shopping inspiration. And we want to make sure that people are going from inspiration to action really, really seamlessly. So you can drive directly to the site from that pin.
I want to go back to something you said there. It was very interesting, and it kind of played into that inspiration and action. So here you are literally like taking a picture or shaking the seasoning on it. I like the way that, because you could almost have the finished look still, but it almost has like action in the shot. And I've read a lot of stats. I don't remember them exactly right now, but a lot of them where in restaurants, when they're showing like action, like here's the spoon going in and it's dripping and you see the little whatever coming back up, or cheese hanging, like it seems to inspire people into action even more. But there was something you said there about there was another picture next to it. Was that a positioning like of the?
Yeah, I mean, you can just take the product shots itself and kind of overlay them on the image. If you really want to highlight the actual product you're selling, you can overlay on the image. You can also do text overlay if you want. If you have a sale or you want to encourage them to shop now or buy now, you can definitely overlay those that copy on top of the pin.
And do you have an area in Pinterest where it talks about that, where someone could learn more about how they could actually get more creative with that?
Of course, we are filled with ideas. Yes, on our business site, we have our creative best practices and all of our specs for static images and video pins as well. And we also have a carousel option where you can have a few different static pins in one kind of catalog.
That's cool.
That's great. And now I'm reminded of another question I had from previous, where this kind of goes back to you when you want to pick your favorite platform. It does require creating content. So you said pin frequently, the algorithm's going to like fresh content, of course. And then sort of the tips to people listening, like, yes, this is another platform where you're going to need to take pictures, right? Like you can't just turn it on and expect magic to happen. Like you do need to take the pictures, but these pins live on a long time. So, a tweet lasts about 15 minutes and it's yesterday's news, and
if you're lucky,
Facebook and Instagram too, they last maybe a day and nobody sees them organically, or every platform has its lifespan of the current content. But with Pinterest, you spend the time to make a pin and that can live on for years, really. So there's a big advantage in taking the time to, yes, you make this lifestyle image, and then if you spend a little time making the overlays that Mandy mentioned, where like you can dress it up a little bit, it will live on a lot longer and people will repin it, and it just seems to pop back up again, years down the road. So
yeah, for sure. And that's because that's the way that Pinterest works, right? Anything that you do in your daily life is going to happen to someone else in their daily life. Everyone's got to eat. Everyone's got to cook dinner. Christmas comes up every year. 4th of July comes up every year. So these seasonal moments and everyday life decisions happen all the time. So this content is going to continue to come up and continue to be relevant. So it is definitely worth, investing in creative. It's not like you have to throw a ton of money at this thing. We just want to be clear that the pinner really demands a high quality experience. And that's because our platform is so visual. It's all images and videos that pinners are really looking for kind of like outside the box ideas, right? They're really looking to be inspired to get off the platform and do that thing, cook that thing, buy that thing, etc. So getting inspired by that image or that video is really, really important. And again, like Jesse said, it's going to live on for longer than other platforms.
I have a question since a lot of Ecwid users are just getting started and they might get worried, I got to be doing this frequently. Is there any advantage to taking the time to do it well, but then maybe every 10th pin could potentially be a photo you've taken and already pinned prior, or does it clutter up, or how does it work?
You could definitely do that. I mean, the platform is available for you to test and optimize and iterate to your heart's content. What we honestly really recommend doing is throwing a bunch of pins out there and then seeing what works over like a 2-week, 4-week period, seeing what's resonating most, and take those other pins down that aren't working, right? There's no reason to keep them up there if they're not working. So we definitely recommend you playing around and throwing stuff at the wall and then seeing what sticks. And then you can use our targeting, our audience targeting, our keyword and interest targeting, demographic, geographic targeting, et cetera, to really hone in on the audience that's performing best with.
So are they going to actually get SEO value out of this too with that? Backlinks to their site from Pinterest, and they're going to actually potentially rank better with those keywords just by using this. So they're actually getting more than just a picture out there on a platform. They're actually getting SEO value too, it sounds like.
Absolutely. Yeah. We would recommend you use SEO strategies for our platform. People are searching on Pinterest. So there are 3 ways that a pin can be surfaced. There's the home feed, search, and related pins. And I can quickly go through those. First and foremost is home feed. This is what shows up when you open up the app or open up the desktop. It's related to the interests that you tagged when you first signed up for the platform, but also the pins that you're engaging with currently at that time. So if you're pinning a lot of pottery stuff, you're going to see a lot of pottery. If next week you're pinning a lot of recipes, you're going to see a lot of recipes. Search is search. It's keyword based. So if you type in holiday home decor and you have, aligned your pins or tagged your pins with those keywords, you're going to show up in those results. And then related pins is really like a recommended pin. So you click on a pin, it goes into a close-up. Then there's going to be all these other pins below it that look similar to what the user has clicked on, but it's not exactly the same, right? So it's going to recommend them to go to other pins.
Wow. Okay. That's good stuff. And, and I think for people listening, most of what we talked about here is really all on the organic side. That means just put a little time curating, getting your products in there, taking pictures, pinning. That's all free to you. So these are essentially we've talked all free strategies to help get traffic, to get sales to your store. Now we want to go dive deeper. Like what if you want to jumpstart this process and you want to advertise? What kind of advertising options does Pinterest have specifically for e-commerce merchants?
Yeah, great question. So the most scalable advertising solution that I would recommend is our shopping ad. So our shopping ads are directly related to the product feeds that you upload via catalogs. So when you have a product feed, like we mentioned, you're putting in a bunch of information in there, right? The price of your item, is it in stock? What's the size, the color, the link to it, images, yada, yada, and keywords, right? And what is the category it falls into? When you push that feed to our platform, we take all of that data and automatically turn it into a pin. So when you run a shopping ad, you don't have to do any targeting yourself because we already know the targeting. We know the categories and the interests and the keywords because you already gave it to us in your feed. So we do all the work for you, take your feed, turn them into pins, and then you promote them via shopping ad. And we're going to target it to the right people because we already know what keywords and interests relate to that hat or those gloves or etc. So that's a really quick and actionable way to get promoted pins and shopping ads on Pinterest.
Awesome. So I will, for people listening, we'll use an example we'll use Kent Rollins again because we've already talked about them. So like with Kent Rollins, let's say they've uploaded their product feed already. They have all the pictures, prices, and then what is it? Cast iron. What do you call those things? Cast iron pot, oh, yeah. I guess. Like that's probably the name of the product. It's certainly in the description. So if somebody else is looking for cast iron campfire cooking pot or something like that, that basically your ad if you've done these shopping ads would show up. So that's a interesting, exactly. Yeah, like you don't have to, it's not that hard to create these ads, I think this is an easy button type of advertising.
It is. And what's great about our product feeds and catalogs is that they also allow you to organize your products by category. So into product groups. So if you're a business, you probably have more than one thing you're selling. So let's say I own a retail store and I sell clothing. So I have hats and scarves and skirts and pants and all that good stuff. When I want to run a shopping ad, I don't want to necessarily promote all of those together. So we help you organize them into categories. So I put all hat images together. I put all skirt videos together, etc. So then you can smartly and strategically promote your ads.
Okay.
Can you do like geo-targeting too? Say you're a local business doing something in a certain area. Could you just make ads show up to just people in your area?
Absolutely. Yeah, we have geo-targeting, demographic targeting. If you even have your own audience data, so maybe the audience data that you've collected from the Pinterest tag that you put on Ecwid, you can target those audiences, geos, demos, and we have recommendations for you too in the platform, so you're not just going at it blind.
Okay. How about remarketing?
Yeah. So again, I mean, if you get the Pinterest conversion tag put on your website, this is going to be huge for you, right? So the Pinterest conversion tag, it doesn't only just show you the actions that people are taking on your site, but it, on the flip side, will show you conversions from matched users. So a user meaning someone that was on Pinterest and saw your ad and then went to your site and took an action. So maybe they bought your product or added to cart. So that conversion tag is going to help you prove out things like your return on investment or whatever campaign goal that you had, and you can remarket that way.
Perfect. Good reminder for the install the pixel, everybody.
Yeah.
It's very simple. You can do it. You can do remarketing. So great. So you can do remarketing now. What about other options? So by the way, little side note, I have advertised on Pinterest. So some of these questions I already kind of know the answer to, but like what about keyword based targeting? So the shopping one is the easy one. You don't have to do too much for that, but can you also target by keywords and other interests?
Yeah, absolutely. That's the bulk of what a lot of people do and what a lot of businesses do on Pinterest. It's funny, and we have a whole team here that can help you with the keywords that you should be targeting, because you never know, right, what people are searching for when your brand could be relevant. One stat that we have is 97% of the top 1,000 searches on Pinterest are unbranded. So people are not searching for a specific graham cracker cookie. They're just looking for s'mores recipes, right? So if you're on the platform, you would show up within those answers. But going on kind of this s'mores kick, it's kind of hard to say s'mores kick. We found that this graham cracker company had indexed higher for the keyword searches slumber parties and sleepovers, which is adorable because that's what kids are doing. They're having s'mores parties at their sleepovers. So it's kind of a fun way to think more creatively about your product and how it's resonating with an audience.
Did you say 97%?
Yes.
Wow.
People are not searching for specific brand names. So like when you mentioned Kent Rollins, I mean, maybe, but like you said, they're probably searching kitchenware, outdoor campfire, grillware, whatever.
Yeah. And actually what I'm thinking in my mind is like, well, that's almost the complete opposite of this big company named Amazon, where it is super competitive and highly brandable. So, and you almost can't really, it's very hard to compete in that world as a new merchant. In the Pinterest world, if you're talking, these are short phrases. They're not really looking for a brand. You're hitting them before they're not ready to buy maybe that moment. So you kind of have it's a level playing field, I guess, might be one way to look at it. So
and I think that's a really good point you're making, like versus platforms where you know specifically what you're looking for. Pinterest is kind of like a mall, right? Like, remember we all used to go to shopping malls and get inspired when we walk through stores? Remember shopping malls?
I've heard of those, yeah.
People used to go outside?
Yeah.
Right? So that you go to malls because it's joyful, right? You get inspired, you get ideas for what you want your new back to school look to be, etc. And that's what Pinterest is for. You're going to the platform to figure out what you want to do. You don't really have a plan. So you take kind of this journey, right? You might go here, see that, get inspired, go there, yada, yada, and kind of go through this path that's ultimately going to lead you to make a purchase, of course. But you don't necessarily know what that purchase is going to be right off the bat.
I see it now. Pinterest is going to bring back the layaway model.
Okay.
You probably don't even know what that is.
Oh, when I was growing up, I had toys and my mom's like, it's on layaway. I was like, what does that mean? They're like, it's a rain check. I was like, what does that mean?
Someday you'll see it in about 9 months.
Right.
Yeah, that's kind of a foreign concept right now. Like you expect it in like 2 hours right now. Times have changed, but anyway, Pinterest, we're bringing it back. So we talked about a lot of different things. It's kind of the shopping ads being the kind of the no-brainer, easy way to go. I know there's all sorts of other advertising options. We probably don't have time to talk about the shop the look, which I would like to talk about offline, for a lot longer.
And you can also find information on our website. If you just go to business.pinterest.com and search shop the look, really easy way to find out how you can get your lifestyle images linked to products for purchase.
Awesome. All right. So we got a good 30 seconds. How about lenses? Give us the...
Yeah, lens is super awesome. So it's a camera feature in the search bar of Pinterest. You point the camera at anything, maybe a t-shirt that you like, maybe this plaid shirt that I'm wearing, and you hold it, take a photo, and then it will show other pins that look exactly like the photo that you took. So your product, if it is a plaid shirt, would show up within those results. So it's a really good way if someone can't describe what they want, but they see it, they can take a photo of it and then go to purchase that product via a shoppable pin.
Even better.
Yeah.
There's all sorts of cool stuff here. If you just get started with the platform and dive in and, kind of check out, like those are kind of the new things that are going on. They're not even that new, but just there's a lot of cool stuff you can do if you just get started. So how do we get people started? Mandy, can we like throw some money their way to get them going? What do you think?
We can. Oh, I feel
like
I'm on
it.
a game show. I love
All
it.
right.
But there's more.
What's behind door number 1, Mandy?
Right. So it's kind of, it's a way to get started. And thanks for listening through this podcast, etc. We are going to be giving you a $100 offer code to spend on Pinterest ads. So we would just really recommend that you get the Pinterest tag up on your Ecwid site and then put this promo code into your business account and then spend some money on ads. It's $100. The offer is good through December 31st. There are limited quantities available, so please use it. I can mention the code now too. That'd probably be helpful.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Ecwid 100, so ECWID 100, and it is good in globally, so in the US, in Europe, in Great Britain, etc. So feel free to plug it in today.
Awesome.
Nice.
All right. $100, everybody. If you made it through the full podcast, you now have $100 free. Just got to install the Pixel, do the Pinterest business account, use the code. It's awesome. All right. I feel like we should get a commission back. So everybody listening, send me $1.
Out of profits.
We'll call it even. So, all right. And with that $100, probably start with shopping ads or play around. Yeah.
Get your product catalog up there. It's super simple because then all the product feeds are going to automatically get turned into product pins. So it's a really easy way. Spend some money on shopping ads and see how it performs. Black Friday's coming up. Holidays are coming up. So now is a great time to be turning your products into actionable shoppable pins.
Awesome. I think that's pretty much it. I hope everybody out there is excited. Richie, any last questions here?
No, I'm good. I'm just looking to start setting this up right now. Log it in. Okay, I'll wait.
Focus. All right. Well, Mandy, really appreciate you being on the show. Guys, if everybody out there listening, get over on Pinterest, start pinning, free $100. Make it happen.
Thanks.